اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين سيما بقية الله الأعظم روحي وأرواح العالمين له الفداء رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Today's topic, pain management, part 4. The theme of our subject is trying to find a comfortable life. Why should we reach for a comfortable life? Because there are many hidden potentials that are hidden inside of us, and Allah has kept inside of us that we can only reach if we reach or have or possess comfort in our life. Like, for example, thinking. A person cannot think unless he's in a state of comfort. These are hidden potentials that we can only reach if we are in a state of comfort in our lives. If we don't find comfort, most of our time is being spent on thinking about our discomfort. We are preoccupied with the problems we have in life. We are occupied with the issues and the drama that's going on in life that we haven't been able to deal with or find comfort in. And that's the reason there's a need for us to find comfort for our own selves and for our spirituality. Now, there are misconceptions that people have about religion. For example, one of the misconceptions that people have is that harder is better. They think that if we can make it hard on ourselves, then it is better for our spirituality, which is not the case in Islam. Islam never said to make it harder on yourself. The hardness and the problems comes from Allah, from the structure of life that Allah has made, not from our own selves. We are not told to put yourself in danger or to make it harder on yourself. Sometimes by making things harder on ourselves, we get ourselves into sin and get misguided and go away from Allah. So that is not how Islam approaches the subject. Or, for example, a misconception of Islam is that everything is in heaven. Here, there's nothing in this life, meaning that we just have to live through this life and everything is there, which is not the case. The idea is that this life has importance, and the life here has a huge bearing on our hereafter. And hence, it is very important that how we live life and finding comfort for our own spirituality in this world. Or, for example, a misconception is that running after dunya is hubbud dunya, which is not the case. People who go after a dunya and to earn dunya doesn't mean that they're in love with religion. And this, when we look at the hadiths of the Imams, we understand this, that this is not the case. Where, for example, Imam Ali had said regarding muttaqi people, that muttaqi people are the ones who have the best life in this world, who live the best life in this world, better than those people who go after dunya or who are in love with dunya. People who run after dunya, you see that they want dunya and they try to find it and they get it, but their lives are still miserable and they're going through pain in this life. But believers, they enjoy more of this dunya, even in the food that they eat, in the houses they live, and in the life that they're living in this world and what they take out of it. They are doing much better than others. So now, we are encouraged to find comfort. Now, how do you find comfort in life? The most essential way to find comfort in life and the basic way to reach comfort in life is through thinking. We need to start thinking. And this thinking and true thinking and real thinking, not the thinking, for example, hear something and now our minds are engrossed in some ideas that we have. No, not that sort of thinking. A thinking that is real and deep. That's the thinking that leads to comfort. Let me read a hadith for you so from here we can go forward. This is from Imam Jafar as-Sadiq alayhi salam. Imam has said that inna sahib ad-deen fakkara. The person who is religious, a religious person thinks. He thinks, then he says fa'alathu sakina. When he starts thinking, he finds peace. He finds peace. The hadith goes on. The whole of the hadith is about peace and about how to gain peace and harmony and comfort in life. But it all starts with thinking. A person needs to start thinking before he can find peace, before he can deal with the pain and suffering in life. Because if you don't think, there's no magic pill that you can take to make the suffering go away. Everything has to come through thinking. The Quran encourages us to think. And every place that we see, that's why where Allah wants us to think in order to get to the deeper solutions of spirituality. So we need to start to think. There are some people who cannot think. And for example, someone who's constantly talking cannot think. Someone who's constantly listening to things, he cannot think because his mind is occupied by to listening or to watching things or to talking, or even someone who's socializing. He cannot think because thinking requires its own time for you to do that. You cannot just think while you're doing something else. Thinking itself is ibadat, it's a worship, and we must take our time to think about anything in life. But that's where you see that the way begins to find comfort in life. Let's see how Allah emphasizes this in the Quran. It is said in this Surah Al Imran, ayat number 191, he says, الَّذِينَ يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ قِيَامًا وَقُعُودًا وَعَلَى جُنُوبِهِمْ وَيَتَفَكَّرُونَ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. It says, those who remember Allah standing and sitting and lying on their sides, what do? They reflect, they think, يَتَفَكَّرُونَ. They think about what? فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. About the creation of the heavens and the earth. They start thinking about it, and then when they think deeply about it, when they go deeply into thought regarding the creation of Allah, about the heavens and the earth, then they reach the result. What is the result? Rabbana ma khalaqta hadha batila. Allah, you have not made this in vain. There is purpose behind it. It is not accidental. It's not something that came about from nothing. No, there is purpose behind it. There is a reason for this existence. How did they go from looking at the heavens and earth all the way to heaven and hell? Well, because of thinking. They started thinking and they reached the result. Thinking is powerful. and is able to solve many things in our life. So, how do you reach comfort? It is through thinking. So, let's think for a while about who and what we should, let's say, how can we think? Let's do an experiment. For example, sometimes it's very difficult to think about death because death is so final. It's like a final blow that when we start to think about it, we stop thinking before it goes any deeper because it's such a eventuality. Uh, that's why a person, even if he's dreaming about his death, he would wake up before he dies. He just can't fathom that. That's the reason. Let's not think about that. Let's think about something else. Let's think about old age, about your old age, when you are going to become old, 85, 90 years old. And when you're old, what happens? You are weak. You are dependent on everyone around you. You can't even take care of yourself. You are embarrassed. You are feeling low. You are unable to do simple things. You are helpless, in need of others. You have illnesses and diseases. In fact, everyone that you ever loved and knew, all those people are dead. You find yourself lonely and alone. That's the life that you have. Think about it for a minute. Think about your old age that you are going into. And then you see that this thinking is going to start shaking us up. That's going to shake us to the core, to make us truly put things in perspective. Just thinking. Just we start thinking. We don't need extra knowledge for this. Just starting to think. Inna sahib ad-deen fakkara. A person who has deen and religion, he thinks. And through thinking, he will find his solutions. So now that we know that how important thinking is, what should we think about? What should be our focus? What should be be reflecting upon? Well, in order to remove discomfort in our lives, in order to remove the stress from our life and the pain that we have, and to deal with pain and manage pain, and to live a more comfortable life and enjoy our life in existence, we should think about pain. Yes, think deeply about pain, deeply about stress in your own life, the problems that you have in your life. We have to start thinking deeply about them. What are the problems that you have in life? This is going to lead to your comfort. This is going to be the reason that you'll find yourself comfortable by thinking about pain in your life. What is this pain that you're going through? Suffering. And everyone goes through different types of suffering. Not just, everyone has the same suffering. No. Everyone will go through different types of issues in life, different types of problems in life. But start thinking deeply about those problems. And then you will see from there, we will learn how to get to comfort by thinking deeply about pain. Today, I just want to mention pain that we should not be taking upon ourselves. There's certain stress and there's certain pain that we take which is really unnecessary. And we don't need that pain in our life. We don't need to take that pain in our life. These are things that it's not from Allah. We make it our own self. So these are 5 different problems that we create for ourselves that are unnecessary and that are pointless. And we should start to avoid them. In fact, we don't need them in our life. So number one, first type of pain that we do not need in our life, and it has no meaning. It's really unwanted and we don't need it. Number one is pain that comes from hasad, from envy. Yes, whenever you're envious of someone, hasad, whenever you see someone who is better than you or is more endowed than you and more gifted than you or more talented than you, and if you find yourself envious of him or wanting to bring him down and put him down, this pain that you get about listening about a person that you are envious of, it is just causing you a lot of problems inside, bringing you a lot of stress that you really don't need. It's pointless in our life. It just burns us up for no reason. Why are we doing that? Why do you want to burn yourself and put yourself in pain because of envy? It's not getting you somewhere. And that's why when you think about it, you will see that it was useless. Because why are you upset that he has something? If a person understands that Allah is the one allotting risk and he is the one distributing talent, then if a person has talent, it comes from Allah. So if Allah gave it to him, why are you upset about it? It will just hurt you. It's like, for example, Shaitan being envious of Adam, or for example, Qabil being envious of Habil. It just burns him up. And we are the same way. When we don't understand, when we don't think, because if we think, we will know that it's Allah who's distributing this talent and this giftedness. He's giving him some gift that he hasn't given me. He gave me some other gifts. But instead of looking at what I have, I start looking at what others have, and it just burns me. Why are you burning yourself? Why are you in stress? It's for no reason. So these are things that we take upon ourselves. So number one is stress that comes from envy. It's unwanted and we don't need it in life. The second stress that we don't need and pain we don't need in life that's really unnecessary is the pain that comes from pride, from arrogance. You see that a lot of people are proud of what they have and they're arrogant about what they have. And this arrogance that they have leads them to a lot of pain in their life, to a lot of stress in their life. You will see, for example, people who go for Hajj, when they take the super deluxe package and they want to go on the luxury package, to be in the luxury Hajj, what happens to them? And it is my experience that they're always more upset and frustrated than the people in the economy package. People in the economy package are happy with what they get. Whatever bed they get, they're happy with. Whatever food they get, they're happy with. But the ones in the luxury package, they'll get the best food and they're still upset that it's not good enough. They get the best room and they're still upset that it's not good enough. Any little problem that comes about, they're frustrated and they're in pain. Why? Because they wanted everything to be perfect because they paid so much money. They're so arrogant and they want everything to be just right. And those people always suffer. They always suffer. Why are you suffering? You're getting things that are better than other people, but because of your pride and arrogance, you're not letting those things, you're not enjoying those things. You're not finding comfort in those things. So this stress is meaningless, it's pointless. And it happens because of this pride and arrogance people have. So it's one of those stresses that is unnecessary. And if you have a stress like that, then it's your own problem. Allah is not giving these things to you. So that's number two. The third type of stress that people go through, which is unnecessary and truly unwanted in our lives, and we don't need it in our life, is the stress and the pain from sin. Yes, from disobedience to Allah. When you sin and do disobedience to Allah, do something haram, what happens? You create a world of pain inside of you. There's that pain that is inside of you. Yes, you were able to hide it from everyone. Yes, no one saw it. Yes, you were able to go somewhere where no one was able to see it and you did the haram thing. But you know what? Allah saw it. And the angels saw it. You witnessed it. Your conscience witnessed it. And now what happens? That guilty conscience, it's a bummer. It comes to you and it just makes you feel pain, unnecessary pain. And you feel guilty and you feel terrible and you feel like so bad. Shaitan comes to you and starts making you feel hopeless. That's when you look at Qabil, Shaitan first came and made the sin look easy. Man, kill him. It's easy. Once he killed him, then what happened? Shaitan came to him and says, oh my God, see what you did? There's no hope for you now. You better run away. You see, he made him hopeless. And that's what happens. Why? Because of sin. And all of this pain, it's a whole world of pain that comes through sin. And it's unnecessary. If we don't sin, we never have that pain. We never have that stress. So this is the third type of unnecessary stress that we don't need in our life. We can just avoid such pain. Now, the fourth type of pain that we feel, which is unnecessary in our life, is pain resulting from carelessness. Yes, if you're not careful and do something out of stupidity, out of negligence, carelessness, you know what? You will do something that's harmful for you and you get hurt. You get hurt. Instead of being careful and trying to do things in a careful manner, you are just careless and you do things. For example, you were just careless and you forgot that it was your rent was due. So what happened? Now you have late rent, you have fees to pay, you have penalty, all of these things. Now all of these things are again pain, just because you're careless. You had to pay a bill in time, and what happened? Now it was overdue and it went on your credit. These are just simple things. Carelessness brings about suffering. And this suffering is really unnecessary. We need to be careful in what we do. And these are things that are easily avoidable. And we don't need them in life because we have enough pain already that's going to come our way. Number 4, pain that we do not need in our, number 5, pain we don't need in our life. This is unwanted. 5th type is pain resulting from the wrongs we do to other people. Yes, when you do wrong to other people, like for example, ghibat, backbiting, and you talk bad about someone, say something wrong about something, or even right, but he doesn't like it. Now once that word gets out, now a whole world of pain starts. A whole universe of stress is now surrounding you. As to, oh my God, what if he gets to know about this? I will feel so ashamed. What if they get to know that I said this about them? Now you start feeling ashamed. Now you feel horrible that you did such a thing or said such a thing. And now you're trying to hide it. And then you lie. And so many things happen. This whole pain, why this pain? There's no reason for that. Just don't do it. Don't hurt others. Don't do riba. Don't backbite. Don't slander. This will just save you a lot of headaches in life. And these are five instances I mentioned of pain and stress that is unnecessary in our life that we can easily avoid, and we don't need this sort of pain in our life. This is those things for us to understand right now, because when we are talking about pain, pain is real, which you are going to talk about tomorrow, and it is something that you are going to face, and we need to come to terms with it, that we are going to be facing pain and suffering in our life. This is something we are going to deal with in our life. Those who have dealt and know how to deal with the suffering and pain in their life, those are the people who you will find are able to achieve higher levels of ma'rifat and spirituality. And we won't learn the subject because we see that the people who surrounded Imam Hussein were people who were able to deal with pain in their life, and they were able to find comfort in the pain that they faced. This is what we see, because everyone is willing to go through stress, through trouble, to hardship, and through a lot of pain, but they found comfort there. They were able to deal with that. It did not break them down. It did not make them run away. They stood their ground. They did not run away from there. This is what we see. Because when you look at the people in Karbala, you see that. The companions of Imam Hussein. Ahlulbait, of course. But we are just talking about the companions, the people who were able to go with Imam Hussein. They had that in them. Zuhair ibn Qayn, you see that, stood there in front of Imam Hussein when Imam Hussein was praying his Dhuhr prayer. He stood there and he said, I will take the arrows on me, on myself, and not let them reach you. He made sure that those arrows do not reach Imam Hussein. He took those arrows on himself. He did not let them go to Imam Hussein. A scholar like Ayatollah Mutahari, when he read this and when he was researching this, he asked himself a question: isn't every Shia ready to do that for Imam Hussein? And people are ready to give their life for Imam Hussein. Isn't it like any Shia would do that? Why won't any Shia take an arrow for Imam Hussein? So what is the big deal about Zuhair ibn Qayn? He was doing this research when he found himself that morning that he did this research and had this thought. He said he went to sleep on his desk. And on the desk that he was just put his head down and slept, he had a dream. And in that dream, he found himself in Karbala. And he found himself in the same place that Zuhair ibn Qayn was. He was standing next to Zuhair on one side and Syed on the other side. The two men who were protecting Imam Hussein. And he was in between them. And his job was to protect Imam Hussein. He saw that Imam Hussein is praying behind him. And on the other side, he saw the army there. And them jeering and them shouting, trying to disturb Imam Hussein, trying to curse Imam Hussein. And he saw that they're now shooting arrows at Imam Hussein. And that arrow he saw is coming straight at him. When it's far away, it looked very harmless. But as the arrow came closer, it got bigger and bigger and bigger, and it came to him like death comes. That this is his death. It's finished. He's ready to die now. He's ready to die now. So as that arrow comes to him, he sees that arrow near. He braces himself for the impact. Then he says, I'm just holding myself, and that arrow, as it's about to hit me, then I start shaking. that fear overwhelms me. And I see myself flinching. And that in the moment of impact, I cow out and I duck. And then another arrow comes, and the same thing happens. It comes close to me, and then I duck. And I keep on doing that, and I keep on doing that. And then after a while, I turn around to see Imam Hussein, and I saw every arrow that I did not take on myself went into the body of Imam Hussein, pierced in him. I looked back at Imam Hussein to see, and Imam Hussein was looking at me and asking me, why did you do this to me? Why did you betray me like this? Why did you not protect me? I woke up from that dream and I realized that Zuhair ibn Qayn, Syed, these were not normal people. These were people who had complete control of the pain and discomfort and stress in their life to the extent that they found comfort in it. This is what Karbala is. This is what those companions had achieved. وآخر الدعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.
اللهم صل على محمد